everybody. Today we are here with myself, Sierra, and Mr. JB.
How y'all doing? I'm excited to be on our Choffin's podcast. This is awesome. I think it's an awesome experience, and it's an honor to be on here.
We actually, on a previous episode, we've had his wife, Miss Lauren, on here. We love Miss Lauren. And now we have Mr. JB.
Yes, I'm excited. So what you got for me, Miss CC? What you got for me? It seems like you got a list of stuff. So
today we're going to be talking about self-growth. What does self-growth mean to you?
Self-growth. Well, when we look at self-growth, I look at a person maturing, their maturity, a person growing, and maturity growing as a person. I think we should be growing every day. It's so important that we're growing and maturing, and we're progressing instead of regressing. So
it's always a good thing to move forward and not backwards.
Yes.
That's one of a good thing. Always move forward, no matter how hard it gets. Move forward, never backwards. Speaking of maturity, what do you think maturity?
When I think of maturity, just growing up, in every aspect of your life, growing up in your thinking, growing up in your actions, learning how to handle, even in your situations, in your conversation. So I look at maturity, I look at it in all aspects of life that you're maturing and getting better.
Absolutely.
So
with that being said, what will be one of the things that you self-improved on most recently?
Communication. Learning how to communicate much clearer, making sure that, because sometimes people will ask me a question and I won't answer them directly, but I answer in a way, I kind of like go around the mulberry bush.
Yeah.
So instead of going around the mulberry bush, learning how to communicate effectively, answering those questions, making sure I'm listening. And I think that's a key part of maturity, learning how to listen rather than doing all the talking and really hear the heart of an individual and whatever they could be asking. So maturity is just maturing in all aspects of your life, so that's why I kind of look at maturity, not just one aspect of it.
Yeah. With that being said, have you ever had a conversation with someone on how self-growth works?
I haven't had a necessary conversation, but I kind of talk about growth every day. Because every day, you're learning about yourself in the areas of your life where you need to grow.
Absolutely.
I'm 45 years old, but I still have to grow up. In other words, it's a constant thing that you experience every day. So you never get to an age where you feel like, okay, I'm all grown. It's something that you have to continue to mature in. You got to get better at. In some areas of our life, we mature better than others. And so those areas that we're not maturing or growing, we got to get to the root issue. Why am I not growing? And what things is hindering me from maturing and growing? It's one aspect of looking at self-growth.
What is one of the things you want to improve on with self-growth?
When I look at self-growth and maturing, one area is learning how to conversate better, but learning even too, just trying to stay positive in all aspects of life too, because sometimes life happens, and I think that's what all of us have been experiencing. And life is not always going to go the way it seemed to be planned to go.
Right.
I think we have in our mind that we want life to go a certain way, and it's not going to go that way. So now I have to learn how to make pivot moves, learning how to mature and adjust to unexpectancy in life, and not allowing when life happens to stop me from maturing.
Right.
So I think those things are something that I have to deal with every day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to deal with life unexpectancies every day. So learning how to still keep one another, yourself encouraged and going forward.
Mm-hmm. You know how they say, like, grass is always green on the other side, but that's not necessarily the case because you do have your days.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. And see, that's the deception of the grass being, greener on the other side. It always looks green.
Mm-hmm.
But then, when you get over there, you see that it's not all that was cracked up to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, you can't allow yourself to be easily deceived.
Right.
Some people, the way they look at life, sometimes they can deceive themselves to think that, oh, life is supposed to be this way or that way. But no, you got to be open minded and be willing to accept what comes and goes in life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's part of, self growth, So, and once again, it's about progressing.
Absolutely.
How can I progress to become better, rather than regress and go backwards? So,
There might always be distractions, but never let them always distract you. That's the main thing. Or there could be setbacks, but never let distraction setbacks always set you back.
exactly.
Always try to move forward. Even if it gets hard, move forward as best as possible. What motivates you?
Um, it's a lot of things that motivate me. Like every day that I wake up, I'm motivated. One, to be here at
Mm-hmm.
Choffin, because I love all my students. I love the people I work with. So that is a motivation in itself. Definitely seeing my family, seeing my wife, like my children. That's always going to be an ongoing motivation. But it's just impacting somebody's life. That's the motivation. How can I become better that, my wife can become better?
Yep.
How can I become better? My children, my students. So that's my motivation, is trying to be that change that needs to be made,
Mm-hmm.
and I think if I can be that change, that makes the difference. I'm willing to change to become better. So people around me are willing to change. They can become better. So I think that makes the difference.
If somebody needed advice on self growth, what advice would you give them?
Self-esteem. I think self-esteem and people's decision making affects self growth. If you have low self-esteem, that's definitely going to affect how you grow as a person. And sometimes our home environment isn't the best. The things that we allow to influence us, whether it's music or people, these things can affect our self growth. And so we want to be around people that's going to help us become better,
Absolutely.
that's going to help challenge us to become better. And so, you'll know that you're in a new season, a new time because of your circle, who's around you. And you don't
Yep.
want to be around people that's going to, delay that growth. And then
Absolutely.
also decisions.
Mhm.
We have to stop making decisions, wrong decisions that's going to hinder our growth too. I think that affects our self growth, And so we want to make better decisions, be around better people that want more out of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those things help.
And that's all. That also ties into distractions too.
Yes.
Never be around the people that's gonna make the wrong decisions all the
Yes.
time, because that's a minor setback. Honestly, because you may think they want something for you, but in the long end, they really don't. So be around the people that want better for you.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about growing as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Look, right now we're having, a live broadcast. We're growing right now
Mm-hmm.
because of what we're talking about. And, and the things that we're talking about is positive. They're going to feed us as an individual. That's going to help us become better. And so I think this podcast today is very helpful because we don't know what people are going through. We don't know the challenges and things that they are facing. And so we need more positivity. We need more speaking life instead of death into the world,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's so much negativity and so much toxic stuff around us. And we take in more toxic stuff instead of positive stuff. And
Exactly.
so that can once again affect our self growth, growing as an individual, growing as a person.
Yeah, never let everything be negative. Always look at the positive, not always the negative.
Mhm.
All right, guys, this is Insight on Mr. JB's self growth. We'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Tune back in.
Hello. Hello, guys. We are back today to talk about motivation with Mr. JP.
Appreciate it. I'm excited. This is our second segment here, and I think we're talking about a lot of good stuff, Miss CC. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
good stuff.
What is the one thing that motivates you the most?
One of the things that motivates me is just impacting people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what drives me. I want to impact somebody's life, and I know I have to become a better me to be able to
Absolutely.
do that. And so that's one of the things that drives me, keeps me going. One of the things I just live to do. You know, everybody lives to do something, but I look to make a difference in somebody's life, to impact and to encourage them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because everybody's dealing with something, and if you can
Absolutely.
help them to give them a better perspective of life, because people look at life from a certain lens. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that lens is dark. Maybe that lens is hurt. You know, that lens that they look at life from is could be a negative lens, but just like people talk negatively about Youngstown, but there's so much opportunity in Youngstown.
Absolutely.
You know, so I look at that as a comparison of, you know, your life can be better. It's just how you look at life. And so I want to
Absolutely.
make an impact that people can see life in a from a different perspective or from a different lens in a sense.
Absolutely. With that being said, with Youngstown, people often think of it as a bad thing, but if you see it as a bad thing, you can make it better. Like, you can help the community by bringing better things, if
Hmm.
that makes sense to the way. Never make any situation a negative situation. Always look at the positive outlook on it.
Yes, totally
Because
agree.
the more you have a negative is the more it looks bad on your part, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
There's always light, no matter how hard it is. There's always light in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So with that being said, what how do you define success?
It's interesting because I'm actually preparing
Sorry.
to, I guess, for lack of a better word, to minister a actual topic about success and fulfillment. And so, from a success standpoint, it's always dealing with some type of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an award, it's something tangible that we look to receive, whether it's a
Absolutely.
diploma, whether it's, you know, whatever that case may be. But it's always, whether it's a trophy, it's always something tangible. So we measure success by what we accomplish.
Absolutely.
But we have to see that it's more to life than what we have accomplished. Because
Yep.
what happens is you can accomplish so many things and you would think that, okay, I'm just successful. But there's a broader part of life, which is fulfillment, that we want to live a fulfilled life rather than just a successful life. And
Absolutely.
so when you get into fulfillment, fulfillment is really not tangible. It's not something you can really like touch and receive in a sense. It's something it's about a pouring out. It's being
Mm-hmm.
poured into to pour out. And so I don't want to get too in depth because it's something I'm still working on to share. But success is tangible. But I think it's more to life than just being successful.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's been advertised and pushed for so long. You got to be successful. But everybody's measure of success is different.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if I don't accomplish this? Are you saying I'm not successful? So we measure success by what we can accomplish. But if you don't accomplish that, maybe what you're trying to accomplish wasn't for you to accomplish.
Absolutely.
So then just you see the shakiness of trying to measure success. So I don't want to get too much into it because I start preaching and then we'd be in trouble. And then, so I don't want to go too far.
With that being said, Mrs. JB is actually a pastor, so if you want to shout out to your church to
Yeah,
the people.
Stand in the Gap Ministries. I am the apostle and lead servant of Stand in the Gap Ministries. My lovely wife and I, we've been in ministry together for 15 years, been married for 14. And this is what God has called us to do to make an impact, not just in our community, but to help build up and train up men and women to be assets throughout the world and young
Amen.
people as well. So our address is 3507 Canfield Road. That is on the west side of Youngstown. Feel free to fellowship with us every Sunday morning at 10:30
Abs-
a.m. and every Thursday at 7 p.m.
So if you're in the Youngstown area, feel free to go every Sunday morning. It's actually amazing. I've been to one, and it was a blessing. No, I actually been to two.
Yeah.
It was a blessing. It honestly made me happy. So if anybody's in the Youngstown area, feel free. And then if you're not in that area, he also has a YouTube channel that he streams from every Sunday morning. If you want to shout out that.
Yes. And that's just Justin Burnette Senior. We're always live. We will be live tonight for Bible study. So you can definitely tune in live to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Definitely
Absolutely.
subscribe.
Absolutely. So even if you're not in there, you can still be a part of it.
Yes.
What is your biggest dream?
Wow. I'm always dreaming. That's the thing. As a dreamer, I never stop dreaming. And so I think one of the biggest dreams is just to see, especially young people. I want to see they they're able to maximize their potential.
hmm
Every young person I see has great potential, and they don't see it. So one of my giftings is being able to see their potential and to help them to reach or to help them maximize. And if I can't do it, then I know I'm connected with people that can help them do it.
Absolutely.
So I want to definitely be able to break generational curses in young people's lives just because of their things that they've been exposed to, things that they're going through because of generational things. So
Absolutely.
want these things broken off their life so we can have a generation of righteousness or a generation of just better living, rather than having a continued generation of poverty and defeated mindset. And so I want to see young people being able to flourish and prosper in a positive sense is my dream.
Well, with that being said, what advice would you give on young people in that situation?
Um, I think some of it we have talked about is definitely young people need to surround themselves with young people that are doing something. I always told my children, I said, you want to surround yourself with friends, if you're going to call them friends, that is going somewhere. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what happens is we get caught up in this circle of being around people that we're cool with rather than being around the right people that's going to help us get somewhere. And so you want to hang around young people that want something out of life. They want to go forward in life. And so you don't want to hang around somebody that don't want nothing out of life. No, there's people I know now
Mm-hmm.
that I grew up with them, went to high school with them, graduated, and 30 years later, they're still doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to separate myself from people like that because they didn't want nothing. And
Right.
then connect myself with people that's going to help me get to where I need to be or help me fulfill my purpose. And so, not to necessarily segue that way, but every young person have purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the struggles is young people don't know who they are. They don't understand their identity. They settle. And I don't want
Right.
young people to settle. I want you to know who you are, and so you can pursue purpose. Understand why you're here is the key.
Absolutely. So if we have any young audience that are watching us, there is some advice on that. What would you define purpose in a sense?
Purpose is the reason why I'm created.
Mm-hmm.
I'm created for a purpose. I'm created for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I think what I've taught through the business entrepreneurship class is that you are the solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Your business idea is going to solve a problem. You have to figure out what problem am I trying to solve? And when you begin to find that problem, because you think about it, every business that's been established, they're trying to solve a problem. They
Mm-hmm.
see a need and they see a problem. And so they try to solve that problem and then make a profit off of it. But I try to
Mm-hmm.
teach you all to not just make money, but you want to see somebody's life change
Absolutely.
through your business. You want to see somebody's life impacted. And we
Change for
always,
the better.
yes, we always talk about Chick-fil-A. The reason why we keep going back to Chick-fil-A is because they impact us every time we come there. We get great customer service, we get great food. And so they have impacted us to the point where guess what? We come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same concept with your business endeavors or whatever you're pursuing to do. Whatever your purpose is about being that change and making that impact and solving that problem. So,
Absolutely. Chick-fil-A got some good fries. I ain't gonna lie to you. um, we've actually just had a conversation in our classroom about having purpose. We were having a conversation. What he actually just said with being having a business. Say you having a shoe business. You have a purpose of having that business because you want to change somebody's life for the better. Maybe they're looking for a certain kind of shoe that they've always been looking for. They can never find it. Then you're that business that actually has it. And you're making somebody's life better by making them happy. So always keep in mind that you have a purpose. Never forget that. That's one of the biggest things.
I agree. And you have to think about it. You know, when somebody meets you, if they buy, I think, Greg wanted to have his own shoe business and clothing business. And so the awesome thing is every time they meet Greg, their life can be impacted.
Mm-hmm.
And he's selling them shoes, but their life is impacted because they met him. See, there's only one Greg. There's only one CC. So you want to be the best impression of you. That's why you got to get better. You got to get every day. I got to get better because if I get better, you get better. And if you're getting better, then somebody else that's connected to you is going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm pouring into you, that's what fulfillment is so important. If I'm pouring into you what's necessary, then you're going to pour into somebody else. So that's what fulfillment is. It's about emptying out. So I empty out every day, but I get poured into.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that pours into me, as you know, is the Lord. So he pours into me to pour into you.
Absolutely.
And the things I'm pouring into you, you can pour into somebody else and their life is going to be impacted.
Absolutely.
So that's the key to that.
Greg was actually in 2 previous episodes, so if you want to go see that, go check that out. That is in the video section. What goals, including career, do you have?
I think I'm actually living it right now. Because I think that's part of my purpose. It was to be a teacher. I've been in education close to over 20 years, different positions. But teaching is something I can't shake. So it's not even work to me. It's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just getting paid to do what I was created to do.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just awesome. And so that lets me know that if I can wake up every day and this is not work to me, this is purpose. So that means you can really find your purpose, find your lane, and learn how to stay in that lane and flourish and grow.
Absolutely.
So I don't look at it as a career because I think career is limited. Your career could be 20 years, but this is more than a career. This is purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so purpose exceeds your career. A career is just something you go to school for and you do it 20, 30 years. You retire. Oh, that was my career. But this is purpose because I can retire from education and still fulfill purpose. I can go into another venue. So that's a different way of looking at difference from, career and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose exceeds it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. This is our insight on our motivational talk of the day. We'll see you in the next one.